A state is a condition that someone or something is in at a specific time. Alternatively, it could be a nation or territory considered a political community under one government. A state is neither of those. A state is a TRPG from 2004 and is a bit of an art piece to some degree. You may know A State 2nd Edition exists by Handiwork Games, but the original creator still works on the game itself. Is 1st Edition available anywhere? No. It's been pretty well scrubbed from sale from most everywhere, bar second-hand or more illicit means. So what's the game exactly? It's a D100 roll-under system, a fairly generic one at that. First thing you have to know is that the first 130 pages are dedicated to lore. The game itself is actually about 10 pages, writing up to 80 pages if you include character creation and gear. The city, though, is the setting, but it's a character unto itself. The entire soul of the game, as everything is built around it in more than a few ways. Let's begin by making a character, and this begins by choosing an age and modifying our 360 attribute points and 500 skill points that they begin with. Yes, it is entirely possible to play little Timmy as a grizzled mic fighter at the age of 10. Now, there are a few advantages and disadvantages to pick through, which I mean less than 12. Some have strict mechanical benefits, others have little more than narrative bonuses that you have access to. Then, your origin will determine where you came from in the city. You get 40 free skill points to distribute among particular skills related to that origin and a single +10 boost to an attribute. This leads into your upbringing. Same premise as your origin though, but gradually being a lot more restrictive based on your origin. Or you choose to play independent or part of a minority group and just invest freely into karate. This is important to note that this isn't a life path, it's a pick and choose adventure allowing you to fill in the gaps with your absurd numbers of points to work with. The character type is actually little more than just a guideline for skills and starting wealth, which you can choose however you wish. So yeah, screw it, invest everything in becoming dystopian Ronaldo and roll a 1 on your wealth score check regardless and begin with less than 5 dystopia pounds. It's like the real pound, but happier. After that, well, that's it actually. Distribute your absurd number of points at a 1-to-1 basis, bar if you go above 50 or 75-ish, and bingo, you've made a character in A State. A statement I would like to make about A State is that it is in a state of mystery in some regards. The game is bloated with options, making sure whether to take animal husbandry, air vehicles, different languages, or anything else. Yet the setting has some really strong assumptions about working from the bottom, or at least as helpers to a community at large. A majority of the game is barely about the game, with its condensed set of rules. Then you reach rocket tag combat, where a single hit can kill you. Let's get to that though. Combat is extremely dangerous and shouldn't be attempted without some reason. Most everything you do in a round is actually some kind of penalty associated with it, and when you do actually hit, there's a hell of a procedure. Let's say I stab you London style with my favorite ceramic knife. It has a damage of 5 and a penetration of 10 or 12 for when I'm stabbing with the weapon versus swinging it. First, we'll check your armor value, or AV, versus my penetration. If AV is over my pen, you reduce damage by the difference. If you're using the right armor, that is. And I'm not hitting you with a hammer. If my pen beats your AV, it goes through without issue. Then we check my damage and your resilience equal to 1/10 of your health stat. If my damage is lower than your resilience, it's a light wound. If it's greater, it's a medium wound. And if it's double your resilience, get ready for a serious wound. Any kind of damage that gets through nets you a wound to a hit location, because you are tracking all of your body parts, right? These grant shock points, which is another penalty, which is then cross-referenced against your resilience again to see if you have to make a KO check or just fucking die. But I have a question for you. Should you get into a fight with someone who is dangerous? Probably not. Fighting is dangerous and is best avoided. A State is as interesting as it is due to that commitment to making you live in the city. It's a justification for the entire setting to exist after all. If this was a book or a movie, it may even work better. The city draws you in, makes you live in this little world. It's sobering in some ways in the world of anti-canon. Is the game good though? No, it isn't. Characters are failure prone early on, and there's a lot of whiffing rolls, and even when you do get experience, a extremely slow endeavor in any case, any kind of action you get into is probably going to be lethal, and then the penalties arrive to drag you back down. Combine that with some bizarre layout and esoteric wording, and it's a genuine oddity. Honestly, I haven't read it, nor do I think I will, but the Forged in the Dark version of this game may be what it needs to get the beat across better. You're the little guys in a big city that eats people alive. Weird shit's going down, and you're half trying to stop it, and half seeing if you can't make a profit off of it. Mix in some lethal combat, and it seems like a pretty solid fit. Is A-State First Edition interesting, though? Yes. Undeniably so. The setting is deep enough to wait around with plenty of mysteries to insert your own way. The writing is direct and to the point for the rules, reference section being 2 pages for the whole rules section. And yes, the commitment to the bit of making a setting befitting a game like A-State. My name is Notepad, and this was a statement about A-State. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Many thanks to the Canal Workers Guild for their continued funding of my misadventures. Godspeed and good luck.